Fellow comrades of the revolution, revolutionary greetings from Johannesburg, South Africa. My name is Jesse Engo Itambi. I am your humble Ambazonian ambassador to Southern Africa, and I am a member of the Cabinet for the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Today, I'm going to be giving a brief talk on being a member of a government and also being a member of a revolutionary movement. I'll be giving a talk on being a member of a government and being a member of a revolutionary movement. As you already know, we the Ambazonian exiles in South Africa were behind the initiative for the formation of what is known as the Southern Cameroons Congress of the People, SCOP. But we did not do it alone. We invited our compatriots from different parts of the world to brainstorm over the scope and the specific objectives of SCOP. The dynamics on the ground are changing very fast. Our people are killed every day. Many more have escaped to seek refuge in neighboring countries. None of us invited this war. This war was imposed on us. None of our fleeing compatriots were prepared to become refugees. This was imposed upon them by La République du Cameroun. The international community, which we thought would have stepped up by now, has abandoned us. They have chosen to stay mute over our cries for justice. Our interim government is doing the best it can with the limited resources at its disposal. Instead of giving the IG constructive criticism, some movements have embarked upon a destructive agenda to destroy and bring to null the gains made by the IG. Yet, not for once have they offered alternative strategies or suggestions to advance the revolution. So we decided to step up as people to carry out programs and actions that will complement the effort of the IG and not to compete with the IG. We decided that the time has come for us to birth a new movement whose activities should take this revolution to the next level. Now, the question you should be asking yourself is this: why would the same people who have condemned every program of the IG suddenly start accusing SCOP of promoting disunity and insubordination towards the same IG they do not recognize? It is very simple: to plant doubt into your heart, to weaken your unshakable resolve to stand behind the IG as SCOP has vowed to do. When SCOP positioned itself as a Republican movement with a noble manifesto to re-energize the base that these same groups have fought so hard to weaken, their reaction was vicious. They unleashed new tactics and tricks that they thought would kill SCOP and give the freedom to deal the death blow to the people's revolution. But I got news for all the distractors. SCOP is here to stay. SCOP is here for the people and is owned by the people and is here to stay. Our Ambazonian compatriots are resident in 15 countries that make up the SADC region, that is the Southern African Development Community. As an IG appointed ambassador to the SADC region, it is my responsibility to engage in strategies that foster the well-being and security of every Ambazonian in these 15 countries and beyond. I want to assure you that South Africa presents a geopolitical and geostrategic advantage to our struggle. Now let me explain. Pretoria is second only to New York in terms of the number of embassies and consulate and high commissions that are hosted by any country on earth. New York only derives a superiority over Pretoria because the New York hosts the Secretariat of the United Nations. Therefore, as the resident ambassador to South Africa and the SADC countries, I have had the unique privilege of interacting with numerous ambassadors, with numerous high commissioners, and with numerous consulate officers, with whom I've had very productive meetings, but these meetings in themselves are not enough. Why are these meetings not enough? Now, when you escape from an abusive country like La République du Cameroon into any foreign country, you are expected to become an advocate of your freedom. You do this by taking part in public demonstrations that expose you to more risks. The questions I want us to ponder over are: did any of our refugees ever receive the civic education to prepare them for the scenario they find themselves in? The answer to that is no, not at all. Will their active participation at public rallies and demonstrations boast my diplomatic engagement with the crème of diplomats in Pretoria? The answer to that is absolutely yes. Can the interim government single-handedly provide social services and security and a means of livelihood to the growing number of its citizens scattered like orphans all over the world? The answer to that again is no. Therefore, in my capacity as the ambassador of the SADC region, I came to the realization that we need structures independent of the interim government to empower our people in the countries that they find themselves in. It is in the best interest of our people to quickly find genuine ways of taking care of themselves through programs put in place by an independent body. As soon as they get access to the structures in place and start receiving training in political activism, which no country shall provide for them, we shall immediately see a boost in turnout in our demonstrations, and that will in turn increase the chances of getting our story heard and taken more seriously. Many of you have asked me the question over the past couple of weeks: can you be a member of the IG and at the same time be a member of a revolutionary movement? My answer is simple: absolutely yes. In fact, I think every member of the government, every cabinet member of the interim government of Ambazonia should have a political home, or at the very least, a social affiliation home through which they can advance a noble cause. On a personal note, I want to share with you my 6 reasons why I think it is important for every cabinet member to have a political home or a social responsibility base that fosters a noble cause. The first one is this: the appointment into the government is often at the discretion of the president of the electorate. As an ambassador, my appointment is at the pleasure of the president of Ambazonia. That also means that the president, at his displeasure, at any time, can withdraw the appointment of all the appointed staff within the cabinet, including myself. In cases where members of government are elected, their position is at the pleasure of the electorate. This same electorate can one day recall those they have elected into power. One day, all of us, whether we're elected or we're appointed, will have to give up our position so that others might lead, because that is the Ambazonia that we aim to build. We will all take turns in leading our country. This does not, however, stop us from participating in this revolution when we have given up our positions. And at the same time, we still have to be active in our constituencies wherever we might find ourselves. In my case, I have chosen Scope as my revolutionary shelter. The second reason why I think it's very important that as a member of the IG, I should also be a member of a revolutionary movement is that revolutionary movements are the rock of any membership. Anyone who has followed revolutions worldwide would agree with me that revolutionary movements are bedrocks of all revolutions. It is through revolutionary movements that cadres are trained to become leaders. This is where they are prepared for positions of responsibility. Now, Scope has positioned itself to play that very vital role. The third reason why I so absolutely believe that as a member of the IG, I should also have a political home is that my constituency is South Africa. And just like every other member of the IG, we all have our constituencies. It is always important to have a home to fall back to. We do know that the Cameroonian government has been making moves on some countries where the revolution is gaining steam, such as South Africa, Italy, Switzerland, Belgium, Germany. We therefore need to build our bases and membership in order to be able to counter the offensive moves by La République du Cameroon, long before we can bring in the interim government to then conclude these talks as a government. In my case, South Africa is my constituency. I am falling in line with the decision of the South African leadership to have a grassroots movement alongside other Ambazonian constituencies. The fourth reason, and a very important reason at that, why I feel that as a member of the IG, I should also be a member in a revolutionary movement, is that of gender opportunities. As a lady, and as one who was appointed as an ambassador, Ambazonian ambassador to SADC, I would like to applaud the appointment of women by our president, Sissoco Ayok Tabe Julius, and the acting president, Dr. Sako, into positions of responsibility in our revolution. But I honestly feel it is not enough. I want to see more women playing bigger roles within our revolution and beyond. To achieve that, we need to have a platform where women can showcase their leadership qualities, grow through their ranks, and be appointed to more responsibilities. I am certain, without a doubt, that by being a member of a movement like SCOPE, more women with leadership qualities will be discovered, and we shall have a more central role to play in the decision-making in our struggle and beyond the struggle. The fifth reason why I feel so strongly that as a member of the IG I need to become to a revolutionary movement is because of the need for a coalition government. His Excellency President Sissoco Julius Ayok Tabe and Acting President Dr. Sako have been reaching out to leaders of frontline movement. If those leaders had agreed to join the interim government, we would have been having a government of national unity. Now, as a government of national unity, it does not mean that these leaders would have dissolved their movement. They would have continued to lead their movement and be affiliated to their movement while at the same time being part of the government. By being a loyal member of the IG that I am and at the same time affiliated to SCOPE, I am a living testimony to assure Ambazonians that we can build a nation in which our people can belong to a movement of their choice that enables them to play other active roles outside of government. I have chosen to be part of SCOPE. Now, the sixth reason is the fact that the interim government, as any other government in the world, has limitations. Grassroots mobilization and radicalization is best executed by grassroots movement and not by government. If you show me a government that was able to mobilize and radicalize people during a revolution or a struggle like ours, then maybe I'll say I was wrong here, but that has never happened. The mobilization and radicalization has always been done by grassroots movement. We must understand that the interim government cannot be expected to do everything. We have chosen, therefore, to play our part by joining SCOPE to ensure that grassroots mobilization is galvanized and is promoted. And this will be done by the very people in these grassroots structures. I could go on and on and on and advance 100 reasons why nobody should stop anyone from joining a revolutionary movement. I could also go on and give every reason why every member of cabinet should belong to a revolutionary movement. First of all, it is your civic right. And I want to invite all of you to form cells and chapters of SCOPE in your neighborhood, in your counties, in your countries, and anywhere you might find yourself in the world. SCOPE belongs to the people. SCOPE is owned by the people, and SCOPE is ruled by the people in order to support our interim government and not to compete with our interim government. So I want to thank you all for listening, and may God bless Ambazonia.